Hello and welcome to Console Gaming League. Got the second of a little doubleheader here on a nice Saturday night from the Carbon tier. Wasted Potential still undefeated all the way in week 7, 6-0-1, coming up against Instalock, who I think I misspoke earlier, 2-4, but definitely a team that they kind of got off to a difficult start and I think an 0-3 record, but then coming back in, got 2 quick wins up to 2-3, and then kind of maybe in the playoff hunt, but then dropped another game last week. I think that was too unacceptable, and so yeah, now 2-4, and maybe playoff hopes a little bit shot, but an opportunity for them to kind of maybe blemish the perfect record of Wasted Potential here in this Carbon tier. I'm your host, Salt Pepper, joined by Fallen Potatoes. And Fallen, what can you tell me about these teams? Obviously, we're excited to get into this game. I know that you've casted these teams before. You know, what do you think we can expect to see?
I mean, Wasted Potential are definitely ahead of the game. Like, they're in Carbon tier, but they've won every single match they've faced in all these up to this 7th week. So they're definitely going to be packing some punches. But I have actually had more experience in just streaming Instalock. I've actually played for them back when they was under the old name. And I mean, between now and then, they have seen a lot of improvement with a few roster changes, a few captain rotations and stuff like that. They have been on the up. So hopefully they've been on the up enough that they can come away with the win. But it's anyone's guess at the end of the day.
Yeah, too true. They still do have 8 map wins, so you know, you get a win here, and maybe Munchies drops this week, and it starts to look maybe a little bit possible, but could be a little tough for them. Regardless, both teams are ready to go, and we are going to Dorado first. A solid payload map that's proved to have a lot of entertaining matchups just throughout this week already, so definitely excited for a Dorado deadlock. Wasted Potential defending first, and Instalock will be able to take a lot of positives from at least capping the first point, but being able to cap and complete the map on their initial attack, I think, is going to be huge. Wasted Potential looking to put in a very strong defense, so we'll see which side we get here. Now coming out here for the attacker, still comps a little bit undecided. But looks like Sage going on the Lucio for Instalock in the red on your right. Steve's Hundies, there we go. Steve's Hundies 27 on the Reinhardt. Gormorgon on Diva's Blink 16 over on the Tracer. Masterman 90 on Roadhog as Valkyrie 907 goes over to the Moira. For the defenders, Rook on the Zenyatta as Nuka. A very solid Tracer player as well. I'm playing Hanzo here, but excited to see the Tracer play come out inevitably later in this game. DSK Madrox on the Mercy, Legend Toasty going Doomfist perhaps. Bucky 360 on Zarya as TKO Bucky on the Reinhardt. I like these comps so far. The attackers have a pretty standard set here. I like triple tanking with the Moira Lucio. They got Blink to try and cause a bit of disruption. Oh, actually switching over to a Brigida now, so very much a brawly comp. And I like that from them. Solid goats. For the defenders, a little bit more standard with the Ryan Zarya, trying to get damage in and disrupt with the Doomfist and range damage with Nuka. Obviously the Discord Orb's influential in from Rook, so it's like an attack underneath Instalock going all the way around to try and disrupt the defense before they can really kind of get too comfortable up on the high ground. They'll drop immediately directly to point, and Wasted Potential just looking to get into a safer position before they can come and re-engage. But Legend Toasty getting a kill quickly for the defenders. Rook adding another, and both 2 of the supports now down for Instalock immediately. Yeah, interesting approach for Wasted Potential. They just were completely content not to take that fight on the high ground, drop down, invite the attackers to come back down to them, then picks off those kills. Bucky gets another one on Gormorgon, and yeah, it's difficult to tell who really has. Yeah, I think Wasted Potential just kind of crowding out Instalock currently. Blink switching over to a Pharah. I like that switch, maybe getting a little bit of damage over the top, but Wasted Potential still look like they're holding strong. A minute off the clock, and the payload starts to move underneath this initial choke point. Nice direct from Blink. Fallen, what are you seeing out there?
I mean, going off of the start, yeah, the Instalock tactic of going like all the way around on the flank and getting on that high ground to full space potential off was a solid plan. But when they jumped off, I feel like that's where they began to lose it because you had Masterman on that Roadhog stayed up on that high ground, which if he was down in the fight, he could have probably drawn some aggro away from his supports, which could have turned that initial push in the favor of them.
Also, though, impressive from Instalock, able to cap that point with very little difficulty. I think Blink 16 on the Pharah causing a lot of issues. No hit scan for the defender's wasted potential, and so we had Blink on the stream here a little bit and just able to keep raining down shots largely uncontested, and was able to get a few picks that way. So definitely diverting the attention of the rest of the defense, and unless they switch to a hit scan, they could really run into some issues with this Pharah. Finally, Nuckalaka starts to get a little bit of damage in, but getting healed just fine, and I don't know if the Huns will be able to focus enough damage into this aerial threat to really make a difference. 84% already to a rocket barrage, and still just nobody worried about the Pharah up in the air. Looks like a coalescence now coming out from Valkyrie 907, is able to catch Rook, so continuing the momentum. Mastermind gets another kill, and it's a 6v4. Instalock completely rolling over the undefeated waste potential. They're able to answer two back, though. Bucky and Legend Toasty able to even out that fight. Legend will offset it for the defenders, but Instalock coming out very impressively to start here under auto. So a lot of ultimates building here. Coalescence on deck here for Madrox. 5 ultimates for the defenders and 3 for the attack. Everyone sitting here in a good position. And yeah, it's Legend Toasty still trying to get in on this Pharah, but just calmly gliding out of the way is Blink, and still not a lot of threat from waste potential on Blink playing the Pharah. It doesn't really make much sense to me.
Yeah, I think what it is wasted potential are comfortable in their the heroes they've picked, and rather than trying to change out to counter Instalock's picks, they're using what they know to their advantage. Oof. And just going that way, or attempting to at least.
Gormagon with an impressive double there. Nice graviton coming out from Instalock to try and catch a couple, and still getting the kills. TKO Bucky putting some work in on the Reinhardt and able to offset the fight a little bit for them, but finally does drop again. It's Blink, and it's 3 members of Instalock coasting with the payload through the B checkpoint. 4 minutes on the clock, and things looking very solid for the attackers Instalock. Rookie on the Zenyatta trying to get a little bit of damage through for wasted potential. Discord Orbs Abound. Sage switching over to the Ana for Instalock. And still the Pharah a problem. Knuckle switches off the Hanzo to a Reaper. That seems like a step in the wrong direction, honestly. Still no hit scan for them. And yeah, Blink completely just able to run rampant here above the fight. Halo continuing to move. No one really stopping the progress. Masterman close to a Graviton Surge as Blink is about 20% away from a Rocket Barrage. They can combine those really well. Steve's going in with a Shatter. Is able to catch 2. Bucky had the bubble. Was only able to save himself, though. Now swinging away. Not quite able to get anything out of that. Steve will drop, and it's going to be difficult, but the payload continuing to move forward. Red's coming through. Steve will get back into the fray here for Instalock. Legend Toasty just trying to stall as long as possible. Masterman pretty amped up here. Gets a double. Both DPS down. Blink now with the Rocket Barrage will catch a third onto Madrox. And now it's the Graviton to keep everyone at bay. And really impressive from Instalock. They will cap. Rook cannot get back in time with the Transcendence. And that's a 3-0. Kind of a perfect start here for Instalock over wasted potential. Like I said, impressive start here for Instalock. Waste potential have been in just unrivaled, really strong side in the Carbons here throughout this entire season. Haven't really skipped a beat, but maybe slightly tripped up here. We'll see how they respond on their attack, but Instalock in a very good position to take an early lead in the series.
But yeah, definitely, as I was saying before the game started, with the whole roster changes and captain changes of Interlock, they have been going on the up, and what a display! Because I can guarantee that any other team, well, the majority of other teams who would go up against Waste Potential probably wouldn't have been able to have 2.5 minutes left to spare after the first round because of how devastating Wasted Potential have been in the past 6 games, winning every single one of them.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with that. I think kind of surprised to see Waste Potential in this position, but again, definitely a strong team and one that we can expect to come through and kind of force multiple rounds here on Dorado. Knuckle back over to a more natural tracer here, Rook over to a Moira. Otherwise, largely unchanged as Legend will stay on the Doomfist. For the other side, Sage over to a Junkrat as Blink now off the Pharah, going Hanzo this time. And honestly, Instalock, like you were saying, they have been on the up. It's a team that I think even in the last breakdown, I mentioned very well could have been one of the teams to get into the playoff position in Carbon. Definitely looking very solid and just kind of got tripped up. Unacceptable, also a very good side. Weren't quite able to get the win there. It may have ended their chances a little bit, but definitely not a bad side at all whatsoever. And I feel like they do have an opportunity to take down this Waste Potential side. Obviously still pretty early in this game, but possible upset on the cards. Knuckle already getting work done in the back, able to pick up Masterman. And we saw Instalock kind of devote resources that direction towards the Tracers. She rounded the initial corner there, but decided to back off and they can kind of split them a little bit. Now Nuka back with the rest of the team going in once more and trying to find the Mercy. Can't quite catch. Looked like Blink was in the way. No ultimates yet. TKO able to get the kill onto Sage. Things looking good here for the attackers. Knuckle grabs a second. And yeah, I think they should be able to cap A pretty smoothly. And a very nice start for Wasted Potential. And Fallen, what are you seeing from these sides?
I'm just seeing, right, from this attacking side of Waste Potential, I'm seeing what you'd usually see in one of their games. Such a strong start to the round. Oh, is that what I think it is? Is that a Riptide coming from Sage?
Yeah, Sage looking for targets. May find Doomfist. Legend over here in space. And Legend able to find Sage actually. And I think the tire didn't quite catch anybody. But now back up. The red's gone and is gone. And the ultimate kind of wasted there. What were you saying?
I was so hoping for an amazing Junkrat tire because I know one of their members, Milk, has got the nickname of Milk Rat, and I was hoping that Sage would be able to live on that tradition of getting amazing Junkrat tires. A bit disappointing.
Into the back, doesn't quite find anybody, but yeah, honestly, if you're looking for good Junkrat tires, that last game that we just watched between Chaotic and Inner Circle had a ton of them. So if you missed those highlights, you can go back and watch the game or check out the CGL breakdown on Tuesday nights, 9:30 Eastern. But right here on the doorstep of the B checkpoint, Wasted Potential cruising directly through the center section, and Instalock not really making it difficult for them, having a hard time regaining their footing. And yeah, I don't know why we were worried about a Wasted Potential attack. It seems like it's no problem for them.
Yeah, moving into the hardest bit of the map though, because getting up that final little hill is often the hardest bit of Dorado, people say.
Yeah, I agree with that. Pulse bomb coming out from Nuka doesn't quite catch as it's Sage able to get out of the way. Now Blink in with the Deadeye. Isn't quite able to find anybody, and Nuka will focus him down from the back. DPS going in as Valkyrie's down as well here for Instalock. Sage and Steve able to answer two back the other direction. Now Tank's down for Wasted Potential, but I still think it's the advantage blue team as they continue pushing the payload. Now a bit of a tree here from Wasted Potential, realizing maybe they had lost too many members and decided to regroup. Still 4 minutes and 27 seconds. The 2 minutes and 32 though will start to creep up on you from Instalock, and they start out really strongly. So Wasted Potential will look to cap this with a little bit more time, but Instalock, like you said, this is going to be the hardest part of the map for Wasted Potential, and we'll see if they can break through Haven't really had an issue throughout the map, but you know, you never know what Instalock can do here with the shorter respawn. Ooh, Blink able to catch Legend in the back. A nice Sombra switch here, and I like that from Blink. Sombra's a lot of fun to watch, and I think it could have just continuing to throw Waste Potential off guard could work to their advantage. Payload's still stationary, Waste Potential with 5 ultimates. It's a matter of time when they want to use them, as they allow their opponent's Instalock to build ultimates of their own. Waiting for the Sombra in the back. Legend Toasty. I'm sorry I switched away from the camera, guys, but able to find that Sombra, and just that's what they were waiting for. Now starting to engage. It's a coalescence. The Shadow coming through again, and Waste Potential very patient in their approach. Sound barrier as well, just keep everybody up. There's a Valkyrie from Valkyrie up, but still the kill's going the way of Waste Potential. That Mercy not quite able to put in enough healing to keep everybody on their feet, and can only contest now. Blink in as well, and able to maybe stall a little bit longer or give Valkyrie a bit of an outlet, but now Mastermind and Valkyrie both drop. Payload continues to push, and that will be a 3 minutes and 2 seconds on the clock left for Waste of Potential as they complete the map. Very impressive response from Waste of Potential, and you'd expect nothing less from the team at the top of the tier. Nice finish for them, 30 additional seconds, but obviously this game definitely very close. If you know, you look at the two teams on paper, 6-0-1 and 2-4, and you probably expect Waste Potential to roll here, but it's only a 30-second difference after, 2 rounds. So Instalock definitely have an opportunity here, and I think if to some extent fire the shot over the bow to Waste Potential and say, hey, you got to bring it every single fight because we're going to be here and we're going to also have a good attack and be able to, go toe to toe. So obviously from a neutral perspective, you want to see Instalock come back and, cap again. Maybe we'll take multiple rounds here, but Waste of Potential maybe brushing off a little bit of rust and looking to get a victory quickly here.
Yeah, as you were saying about that 30 seconds, that is equivalent to like one more extra push, which could be all the difference. But sometimes we've seen in games before that having enough time to do one extra push doesn't really mean anything if the team with the shorter time becomes more successful in their lower amounts of attacking pushes than what they have.
I do like the response here from Waste of Potential. It's Knucklelucka on a Torbjorn as Legend Toasty goes on a McCree, not going to give Blink any kind of space to work, and I think just right off the bat, that's going to be the difference maker here. Masterman over onto the Sombra though, and obviously different comps from the first round coming in. I do like, obviously the Pharah, it worked the last time, really no reason not to try. You definitely have the time to do so. We'll see if it pans out. That turret will make it difficult, along with Rook having the Discord Orbs and Legend with the McCree, but Instalock still seems like they're pushing pretty well. TKO with a nice pull there onto Gormagon. That's going to be that Diva out of mech, and things already looking good for the defenders. Wasted Potential. Knucklelucka no longer has a turret. Blink able to take down the threat there. Still 45% to a Rocket Barrage, so maybe not running into as much difficulty as maybe previously anticipated. Though as I say that, Rook finally able to take down that aerial threat, and as Bucky adds another, Masterman tries to get the turret, but I think this fight may be going the way of Waste Potential. Now it's kind of difficult because you've got Blink in a gray area where it's like, do you switch off the Pharah? You're already 50% to an ultimate. Is it worth it to invest it to see if you can get all the way through? Or do you look at the comp for Waste Potential and say, I don't know how much value I'm going to get out of this ultimate anyway. Maybe time to switch as TKO takes down Blink once more. 60 seconds now, and the decisions are going to have to be made. Legend able to get back on the feet. Madrox switching over to the Mercy now, picking up Legend Toasty on McCree. Ultimates building for both sides. A Shatter, I feel like Steve's had a Shatter for a little bit, but hasn't really found the perfect opportunity to use it. May try that here. But finally taken down. Kill feed going a little bit blue as Legend's able to grab 2. Nuka's turret grabbing that Diva out of mech, and Waste Potential continue to clean up. Still 4 ultimates for the defenders. Blink now switching off the Pharah finally to a Tracer. The EMP from Masterman could be huge for them though. Steve again goes down with the Earth Shatter, and I think just kind of waited a little bit too long to use it. Will be able to get the res through, but now Gormagon's out of mech as well, so a bit disadvantage. Masterman able to take down Legend, so it's a pretty even fight. Here's the EMP coming out. The Shadow come through as well. Catches 5. Fantastic from Steve. That's a triple kill for that Reinhardt, and that's exactly what they needed to continue pushing this payload. I think they have the numbers advantage, but can they capitalize? Oh, looks like maybe not. Nuka with the Torbjorn turret able to grab Mastermind and Valkyrie. Numbers dwindling quickly here for Instalock, and that will do it, I believe. I think the payload will stop right there. And a solid defense for waste potential, and a steep hill to climb for Instalock.
I'm not sure if you caught it in that last fight, though. Before the Sombra took down the McCree, McCree actually went to pop off his Deadeye, but got hacked midway through and just completely shut it down.
Yeah, I mean, that's the threat you have from the Sombra, able to be in good positions, and especially now that there's no cooldown on the invisibility, you can kind of look for those opportunities a little bit more. Obviously, it's a trade-off because you can't contest the payload, but I'm actually completely fine with the Sombra changes, and I like how she's starting to be utilized a little bit more in these league games.
Speaking of changes, though, that Torb change, which is in the works, how do you feel about that?
Well, and I know I've mentioned this on the breakdown before, too. I think it was the first episode where we were talking about those Torb changes, and I like how the tweaks coming through have been very point-counterpoint. Obviously, Symmetra wasn't getting a lot of value, and so they changed that, and now she's got a different kind of scheme with the way she approaches these comps. So I like that change coming through. I think Torb's going to be in the same vein. You've got a few heroes that rely on shields, and I think his new ultimate in just having lava out to negate those shields is, just a nice way to include additional strategy into the meta, and I'm excited to see how people utilize that. Blink here on a Bastion looking to just rain down damage. They don't have to get very far, or they don't have a lot of space rather to defend. Waste potential doesn't have very far to go, but we'll see if this Bastion can be the difference maker for them. They'll rotate down to the choke quickly. I like the coordination, dropping down shield and Bastion simultaneously. They have the damage boost in from Valkyrie as well. Already looking good as Steve's able to get a quick pick. TKO going directly in for the Bastion. That's exactly what you need out of your Reinhardt. Kills going the way of wasted potential, but 2 back the other direction for Instalock. Still very even, very, very even, but I think waste potential will have the spawn advantage, so maybe they can come back in quickly, but a nice initial defense here from Instalock. Knuckle on Tracer here, going in behind, looking to, again, just see if he can get a quick kill. Finds a couple supports. We'll see how well the comms work here for Instalock. Nuka in kind of a difficult spot, maybe able to find a health pack. Supercharge it down now for Steve, but it goes down immediately. TKO able to fire strike it. Sage grabs that Reinhardt, however, and these fights are just back and forth between these two sides. Right here on the cusp of finishing the map. We'll see if Wade's potential can push it over the line. Getting a couple kills in the feed, but for every single one they get, Instalock answer another one right back. Now it's a Deadeye for Sage, grabs Nuka. Blink back in the sky with the res in from Valkyrie, but I think Instalock again will hold on to this. 2 quick picks though from Legend Toasty, may offset it the other direction, and like I said, just back and forth this fight. Coalescence in from Rook may push them over the edge. Payload 1.79 meters away, and they just need to wrap up the rest of these kills. Instalock fighting for everything they have, but I think that will do it. Waste potential takes the first map. I think a little bit of heartbreak there from Instalock. Obviously, they had a really strong performance, but weren't quite able to get, the result they wanted in this game. Still 2 games to play, though, and they've definitely showed that they can go toe-to-toe with this waste potential side. So we'll see if King's Row is the answer for them. We'll get some post-round thoughts and look ahead to King's Row, where we'll be swapping sides and see if that can be the difference maker for Instalock. We come back. And welcome back to Console Gaming League from the Carbons here, where Wasted Potential are up 1-0 against Instalock. And I know we said on paper it kind of looks like Wasted Potential would run away with this game, 6-0-1, coming in undefeated against the 2-4 Instalock. And I know we talked about how that record for Instalock maybe doesn't tell the entire story, but Instalock definitely looked really good in that game. Wasted Potential really did kind of, I wouldn't say get away with one there, but there was maybe a little bit of a chance of them tripping up. Instalock now will be defending first, so an opportunity for maybe a full hold here to tie up the series, or will Wasted Potential just take it in 2? Still a lot to play for it, but again, I think I've been impressed with how Instalock came out in that game, and hopefully we see more of the same, and maybe they can pull a map win away from this Wasted Potential side. I'm your host, Salt and Pepper, casting with Fallen Potatoes, and I like what I'm seeing so far. What do you think we could expect as we go into Kings Row?
I mean, I've said the similar kind of things before about the whole mentality of players, and whoever has the highest mentality, either Wasted Potential thinking with one map up, let's make it 2, or if it's Instalock thinking, okay, we're really mapping behind this equaliser and going to a strong stance for the final map. Whoever has the more determination to make what they want to come true happen, make it happen, and whoever the team is able to learn from what they did wrong and what they did right from the last map, and then to fix that in the short time, will bring out the winning team. But overall, I feel like with the way Instalock were at the start of that first map, I feel like they are definitely giving Wasted Potential, the current undefeated team, a very, very big run for their money.
I think it's interesting that you bring up the kind of counterpoint and having to respond well to your opponents, and we kind of saw that from Wasted Potential. They didn't really give much notice to the Pharah when Blink was playing that Pharah on Dorado, but then on their subsequent defense, coming out with the McCree and the Torbjorn to respond to that. But by the same token, running the Pharah in the first place, right? If Wasted Potential aren't going to challenge you, why not? And I think that was a big part of why Instalock were able to cap Dorado so quickly. But now coming into Kings Row, completely different story, is now we switch sides. Wasted Potential now the attacking team first on your right. Supporting hero coming in and doing a really solid job. I like supporting hero a lot. Plays a good Zen and another Moira as well. But here on Lucio is Nukalaka goes Brigitte. DSK and Madrox will round out the GOAT supports here as Legend Toasty goes Diva, Bucky on the Zarya, and TKO Bucky, sorry, on the Reinhardt. For the defenders, Sage 18 on the Moira, as Steve switching over to the Mei now. Gormagon still on Diva. Blink trying out the Pharah again, and I like that. Masterman on the Reinhardt as Valkyrie. It's going Mercy. Wasted Potential giving just a second, maybe just to see what comp they're up against. A little back button there. Steve able to get a quick pick on a supporting hero, and that'll be huge for the defenders to continue pushing. Gormagon grabs another, and that's both supports down now. Wasted Potential will have to retreat. And a nice initial defense here from Instalock. We'll see if they can get the stack on to Bucky, but that Zarya may just be able to get away. Really solid here. 45 seconds on the clock, and Instalock will hold. Now the attack coming back through for Wasted Potential going main. Steve maybe thought about that high ground a possibility and wanted to put the wall up. Wasted Potential will not give him the satisfaction though, and they're planning their next engagement. Blink doing a really good job of staying out of the line of sight. I think they keep wanting to take out that Pharah, maybe give her some trouble before they start to engage, but sitting really far back. Nukalaka sent in behind to try and take down the Pharah, but completely aware of it is Blink. And they may be just having like a little battle of their own. Now the recall gone though for Blink. May have to retreat, or not for Blink, for Nuka. May have to retreat a little bit. And still Instalock looking good on this defense. Oh, but things maybe start to go south as Gormagon's out of mech, Sage down as well, and immediately Wasted Potential starts taking advantage. TKO with a Fire Strike grabs another, and here comes the Rocket Barrage to answer one back the other direction. Really like that from Blink. But yeah, maybe too many members down. Wasted Potential still with a lot of the advantage here. Now with Shatter coming through, catches 2. And actually, that started to look pretty good. Masterman wasn't able to come in and follow up. I think Nuka kind of saved that because I think everybody was caught there. And they still have Blink in the air raining down damage, so just about a tick gone for wasted potential here. We'll see if the reinforcements from the defense can come through. A Deadeye and a Pulse Bomb will grab Blink and Sage. Gormagon out of mech again, and I think wasted potential will cap this point. Ooh, a lot in that fight to process. Fallen, what did you see?
Yeah, there was a lot of action going on there. Definitely, Blink when he was playing the Farah, he was just staying out of the immediate range and line of sight and just raining down damage. And when Masterman got that Earth Shatter off, I thought they were going to be able to hold there.
I thought so too.
I think it was Nuka came out of nowhere and just saved his team's attacking push by taking him out.
And now, as they start to push the payload, this may kind of causing a few issues. They've got the Bastion, though, to try and get the damage through and create some space for them. It seems to be working, but Steve really causing problems, now isolating the rest of the team, and the supports can't get back. Yeah, I like this May play here from Steve Sunday. He's doing a really solid job. But, I mean, the problem, though, is that the defense continues to retreat down the center section. Blink with a nice Pulse Bomb on a Madrox to kind of offset it, but they need to engage this now that they have the advantage. Letting the res come through on the Madrox. Now it's still a 6v6. Legend up on top of the payload with the Bastion. Has no shield, but it doesn't seem to be an issue. I'm kind of surprised that Instalock isn't being a little bit more aggressive with their engagement here. Yeah, now his Legend grabs one. I believe there was another one down as well. Waste potential really starting to kind of apply the pressure coming through this second section. Gormagon able to find Legend Toasty finally, and having that Bastion down could be an advantage for them maybe, but Knuckleluck is still putting in work and taking down Masterman. 2 minutes on the clock, but waste potential looking very convincing as they approach this second checkpoint. 6 ultimates for the attackers. My God. Don't need a 1. And haven't really needed to use them. Now finally it's a Valkyrie up here for Valkyrie. Trying to maybe help Instalock hold a little bit. Blink able to take down TKO Bucky, and maybe the momentum headed that direction. Bucky 360 able to take down Gormagon, but waste potential just, ooh, they look really good. And still just opting not to use any ultimates. Kind of surprised by that. I feel like a couple out here and they could easily cap this point. Finding the Graviton coming through. Madrox with the Coalescence. A nice combo there from the tier leaders. Honey's on the Ana will get melted down, and that'll do it. Waste potential grab the second checkpoint with 2 minutes and 52 seconds left on the clock. Preemptive rally coming out here from Sage. Pulse Bomb falls flat. Knuckles is not quite able to catch anybody, but maybe forcing back the defense a little bit further. Blink now on a Tracer as well. Pulse Bomb onto the Bastion, also falls flat. I think maybe they got the Bucky's ally bubble on there. Very solid protecting this bed. I'm kind of surprised they're able to protect this Bastion so well, considering he does not have a shield. It does not seem to be an issue, though, and already has an ultimate. Payload continuing to move. It seems like, yeah, waste potential really just kind of, maybe that first game was a warm-up for them. Looking really solid now. Yeah, Sage may be trying to briefly counter, but that wasn't going to happen.
I have to say, though, yeah, the Bastion for waste potential in that last round didn't have a shield, but I feel like their whole team as a whole was kind of body blocking some of the direct fire and the line of sights for the Bastion. So all damage coming in rather than being put on the Bastion, it was put in, like, spread out across the other members of the team, and that's why the sustain on the Bastion was higher than what you'd normally expect.
I think to some extent I would agree with that, but also, you know, you see how influential that Bastion is and how, you know, he's stationary, right? That's technically a free pick for you if you're able to get in there. So I'd like to see Instalock maybe make that a bigger priority. And, you know, obviously there's attention focused elsewhere. Make sure all 6 members targeting that Bastion and, you know, taking down the threat. Because then you've got a 6v5 and the fight starts to look a little bit more winnable without all that damage raining in on you.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
A most impressive display. You really should take that piece of cake.
Five, four, three, two, one. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A. Disguise one.
point is what 2.76 meters away, and it's just a full-out brawl on point. No one's going down. Well, I say that, and then waste potential lose 2 people, but yeah, it was just a full-on brawl. Everyone was everywhere. Everything was flying, and I feel, yeah, it is going the way of Instalock now, though.
Yeah, Palo continuing to inch just a little bit closer. Can't quite get over the line yet. Just the last-minute reinforcements keep coming in from waste potential. Right as they thought they were about to get it, though. It's another contest from TKO Bucky on the Winston. Finally, they can force it through just about 0.84 meters away. 20-player kill streak here for Masterman. Looking really solid, and finally, with just a couple seconds extra, able to cap the point and take the map.
I want to just bring to your attention that I'm reading the stream chat and they're saying that there's no audio.
Oh, I think we did get it rectified. I noticed that I was muted a little bit further back, so I apologize to the stream for not having any commentary for that center section, but we got it back up and running now. Yeah, and like we saw in Dorado, back-to-back map caps from both sides, so maybe not a hugely defensive game, but the offense giving us something to pretty entertaining here. Now it's waste potential attacking first. They are disadvantaged in the time bank, probably not very often this season have they been in this position, having to attack first on round 3. But again, Instalock looking good here.
Think you can keep up with me? Let's shoot for a new high score.
Right off the bat, interestingly enough, it's a ghost defense coming out from Instalock. They could run into problems because there's a Pharah over here, Legend Toasty, up top for waste potential. So, interesting matchup to see who's going to be responsible for contending with that Pharah, because it doesn't look like there's really any clear favorites. Raining in damage from the top. Steve having a difficult time keeping the shield solvent. Slow approach, just about 90 seconds here for waste potential to take this point. Definitely something they're capable of, and as Snuka gets the first kill on a Valkyrie, it starts to look good here for the attackers. Still raining in damage from the top. Frosty's trying to catch a couple kills. Still just the one down, though, for Instalock. Gorgon able to answer one back the other direction. Now Knuckleluck is down. That's a big threat out of the way here, and Instalock may be able to continue wrapping up these kills. Sage down as well. I think it's a pretty even swap so far, but I think it is 2 or 3 of the supports now down for Instalock, so that's going to probably be the difference maker. Rez coming through, Bucky back on his feet. No sticking percentage earned left, but still 60 seconds on the clock. I think that will just about do it. Gorgon still trying to come in and contest, but not a lot of reinforcements. Does have the Mercy. Legend Toasty comes in with the Valkyrie and takes, or with the Rocket Rush and takes down Valkyrie rather. Waste potential really getting the kills they need. Supporting here with the Coalescence is the icing on the cake, and they do have a tick on the point. We'll see if the defense decides to contest. I think they're just going to sit back, yeah, and try and fight this center section. So still just 10 seconds on the clock. They're going to have to be conscientious and stay onto the payload the entire time because they don't get any additional time. So Instalock can use their ultimates here. They've got quite a few on the way and not a lot that they'll have to contend against from waste potential. So this could be an opportunity. I would say, you know, they want to get their full team and then engage, but they don't want to keep moving backwards and give all that space to waste potential. Graviton coming out, catches all of the attackers, but no one there to follow up. Knuckleluck in a very difficult position without a shield. There comes the Shatter, and this might be the cleanup right here for Instalock. Spectacular from Hundies to grab a couple. TKO takes down his opposite, though, and that could be huge. A pin comes in onto Sage, and what looked like a good attack here for Instalock may come back around and go the way of wasted potential. Oh, Legend with another, technically a double there, getting Gorgon on a mech, and honestly, I really thought, you know, they get the Shatter in, the Bastion goes down, and few members look like they might have dropped there for wasted potential, but able to weather that and come back through with ultimates of their own. And now it's a bit of a stagger coming through. I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to come through Cap B. And obviously, you start seeing the snowball effects with the long spawns. It's difficult for a defense in this position to come back, and how many times you see teams, you know, completely in overtime go through and cap the map.
Yeah,
checkpoint for them.
definitely.
Nice 2 points. What were you about to say, Paul?
Yeah, definitely what you were saying about the whole defending team coming back and trying to, you know, try to prevent the capping and that in the overtime. With the extended respawn delay, just having one person go down without the mercy to res, either due to it being used or any other kind of stuff like that, that one person can be a significant strain on the rest of your team, as you'd be in a 5v6 or even worse off situation.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Kind of that bottom blocking you were talking about in the first round. Just Knuckle back here in the Bastion, just completely melting down the opposition. The Tactical Advisor came through from Sage, but wasn't quite able to take down the Bastion completely. Knuckle now with an ultimate will use it in overtime. They're right here on the cusp of capping. The Graviton comes through, but it won't matter. No one there to contest, and wasted potential. Cap the map in overtime. Really impressive there from wasted potential. And again, right there when it looked like for a second, probably twice in that round, it looked like wasted potential, or rather Instalock, we're gonna be able to come back and, you know, kind of stop them in their tracks. But just for whatever reason, wasted potential finding a way through. When Knuckle dropped on that first point, I really thought that might have been it for them, but able to get the kills back the other direction. And then the shatter comes through in that center section. Bastion goes down, they can't capitalize, and, you know, next thing you know, wasted potential capping the map. So if you're not taking those opportunities when they come to shut down this team, they will punish you for it, and doing that here in a very good position after having capped the map twice with 6 points. Instalock with 2 minutes and 13 seconds looking to equalize.
30 seconds.
Brilliant.
I might need this later.
Yeah, that hill Instalock have to climb to equalise. It's getting steeper and steeper as time goes by.
Well, and you're exactly right. Capping the map once against wasted potential is an effort and an accomplishment in of itself. Doing it twice now will be pretty monumental. Still no hit scan on the side of Instalock, and obviously the Pharah coming out from Legend Toasty. I think maybe they figured out this Instalock side. I'd like to see a hit scan come out if they're going to continue, you know, being threatening for this wasted potential side. Already kills going back and forth though. Buck able to get one onto Sage. Sage got one as well, but now Masterman taking down Mad Rocks makes it huge here for Instalock. Definitely asserting themselves on the point. A few wasted potential members still straggling, but I think the numbers might favor the attack. Although as I say that, Legend Toasty able to grab Gormagon, and things may be starting to even up a little bit. Oh, what a quick shatter from Hundies. Instalock looking very solid. Wow, yeah, grabbing supporting hero and Bucket 360. Instalock should be able to cap this right here. What an impressive performance here from Instalock. I really appreciate this, and I don't want to like make you guys and viewers think that we're like selling them short or anything, but like this waste potential side has really just rolled over teams, and Instalock is really coming in and kind of causing them some issues. So I'm really enjoying seeing this. Now with 52 seconds, they won't get any additional time either, and they still have the entire map to cap. But you know, again, you start getting a couple of those picks in the middle section, and you may be able to steamroll your way to a round 4 completion. Looks like it's a Valkyrie coming out. The MP as well will catch a couple now as we go down into overtime. To Rocket Barrage in from the top. Kills going the way of wasted potential. Valkyrie hacked in midair, or in Valkyrie rather. I think Waste Potential definitely have a little bit more of the advantage. No one even close to the payload. Gormagon out of mech is the only one. Graviton coming out just to keep everybody else away. They'll melt down that Diva, and Waste Potential well on their way to winning the second map. Sage finally able to get back outside the Graviton to continue contesting. Blink trying to do the same, but Sage will drop immediately. It's just Steve's trying to get back on. Blink in, and another tank here. I believe it's Masterman continuing to try and contest, but Waste Potential just have the numbers and continuing to rain down damage. Overtime meter starts to melt down. That is it. Waste Potential, with the win on Kings Row, will take the game.
Play of the game.
And yeah, this right here, again, just the Bastion, a huge thorn in the side of Instalock. They didn't really have an answer for it and weren't making them enough of a priority. So in the end, Waste Potential taking the win. Again, the scoreline maybe not super indicative of how this game has gone, but regardless, Waste Potential improved to 7-0-1, and just impressive from them. We'll get the final game from Temple of Anubis, and we'll swap sides again. Waste Potential defending first when we come back. And welcome back to the Console Gaming League from the Carbons here. We're Wasted Potential up 2-0 against Instalock, and looking really solid. Just like I said, picking up where they left off. I think they ended up playing Resiliency last week, got the 3-0 win there, and Wasted Potential just a force to be reckoned with. Can't be said enough. Kind of understatement of the year in this tier. But Instalock, I know we also talked about maybe this scoreline not really indicative of the actual game. I think they've been keeping it close. It's just those little decisions that maybe don't go their way. Poor ultimate usage in just the crucial spot, or maybe holding on to them too long. But Wasted Potential able to capitalize on those mistakes and take the win. So they improve here. And we still will go into Temple of Anubis, where Instalock look to get a map point back, but I think that will effectively end their playoff hopes entirely. And so, yeah, Salt and Pepper casting here with Fallen Potatoes. As we get into Temple of Anubis Fallen, what are your takeaways from this game so far?
I mean, going into it, as Wasted Potential were already winning, they've won all of their games so far. It was high expectations from them going into this match as a whole, and they didn't disappoint. Like, they have been a very strong team, and yeah, they've already got the 2-0 map wins, and going on to this third map, which is all for the crucial map wins. But in saying that Wasted Potential have been a strong team, that's not to undermine Instalock's abilities. Like, they've been making Wasted Potential fight every single step of the way, and they've not been giving up. They've been keeping on the pressure and making them have to actually work for these wins.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, yeah, they may have not actually won the maps, but I guarantee the Wasted Potential side are somewhat scared of the potential that Instalock are bringing to the table.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I know that we've watched Wasted Potential a few times throughout the season, and they, how many times have we seen them just completely roll teams aside with a 3-0 victory that really felt like a 3-0. This one's a right now 2-0 that doesn't really feel like it was a 2-0. Those team fights came right down to the wire, and like we said, just maybe some hero swaps here and there, and not reacting well enough. Wasted Potential were able to get the win, but Instalock, hopefully we'll see them in Season 6, and I think that definitely a much improved side. Obviously, they had the difficulty in the beginning of the season, so maybe still kind of trying to get the rest of that chemistry. But definitely a team that's played really well, and don't let the 2-5 record fool you. I think they're definitely a better side than that. A couple swaps coming through though. Sage now over on the Genji. Steve Sunday switching off the tank or off tank. He's been playing this entire time, going over to an Ana instead. Masterman taking over some of those tank responsibilities on the Winston. As let's see, it's otherwise largely unchanged here. Rook able to get a quick pick though on a Mastermind. Look at all the assists though, the Junkrat and Mercy assist. Legend Toasty already 80% to no 97% will have and has a Riptire. Lightning fast here from the DPS from Wasted Potential, and obviously just able to rein in damage, but it's a good setup to allow him to be able to build the ult quickly. So I think obviously good team coordination, understanding that can definitely be a fight offsetting or fight killing ultimate, and wanting to build it quickly. Switches now coming through. Blink over to a Bastion. It's an interesting setup. No shield tank for them, so I'm interested to see how exactly they plan to work that. I think especially with this Junkrat on the high ground, without a shield for the Bastion, you're going to, just have a lot of damage coming through, and Blink may get melted down. But they will respond accordingly. Steve switching over to a Reinhardt to give him a little bit of protection. Scratch that to a Lucio. Blink needs to switch off the Bastion, though. If Masterman's running a Wrecking Ball, I really don't see what the approach is from this comp. Now it's Masterman going to the Reinhardt now. Okay, I see it. I see it. A lot of swaps coming through for Instalock, and I feel like maybe wasting a little bit of time with these. I mean, I like the feel, that they feel the need to swap, and they're trying to react accordingly, but maybe a little bit more decisive so they're not burning time off the clock. Still a nice high ground defense. It's 2 ultimates built here for the defenders. Wasted Potential, Nukalaka with a Dragon Strike, and Legend Toasty still with that Riptire. Hasn't felt the need to use it yet, but Fallen, as the second fight breaks out, what do you think we can expect to see?
I mean, from Wasted Potential, that treehouse kind of strategy for the defense they've got, where they're on the high ground at the back, is proving to be very devastating. Like, they're just sitting up there, and I don't think Instalock know how to counter it, because really what they need to do is have almost like a dive comp to like pounce on that bunker and then break the bunker, and that will be how they get through the point. But I don't think they know that, and then therefore are struggling to actually get a foothold in this map.
Well, I think you bring up a valid point because they need to be able to get up there and contest the high ground. As the kill feed starts to light up red here for waste potential, I think this fight goes their way. But yeah, they're running the kind of a Diva Reinhardt comp, and wow, actually I'm completely wrong as they start to take this point. But I'm kind of surprised. I think what I was about to say is that I feel like they needed to contest the high ground a little bit more. Legend Toasty is able to get the kill on the Mastermind, but they get the kill the other direction and doing exactly that. Gormagon going over to the high ground and taking down the threat from the top. Yeah, so make me eat my words a little bit. Instalock able to cap that point, and just not a cap that I expected, but looking really good regardless. Pick coming through as Knuckleluck is able to take down Blink, so that'll stall them slightly, but still really solid from Instalock. I know we're talking a lot about how well they've been doing, so maybe I shouldn't have sold on them so quickly. They have 4 ultimates here as they, come in to engage. Still 5 ultimates though for the defenders. Legend Toasty switches over to a Reaper. That could definitely make it difficult. Self-destruct coming through. Finds 3 TKO. Oh my god. And gets Gormagon out of mech. Fantastic ultimate there from the Diva. And yeah, again, waste potential able to clean up here. That's a team kill. I think just 2 ultimates invested there for waste potential. Instalock still coming in with the 5 of their own, so maybe Mastermind gets a shatter and they combine a couple. Definitely in a good position to take this fight if they play their ultimates correctly. Sage with the Deadeye able to pick up Rook. Now they start to engage. Now they have the offset fight. Still no additional ultimates coming out, but it's a Valkyrie here from Valkyrie to try and keep everybody up. Kills going the way of Instalock. Legend Toasty finally able to get one back onto Blink, but yeah, Instalock looks like they're doing really well. Here comes the Death Blossom. Legend Toasty actually does grab 3. Wow, I thought they'd be able to focus him down, but spectacular triple there from the Reaper to save that point.
Yeah, the defending team has been very good at defending this B point, I have to admit. But then again, Temple of Anubis point B is one of the easier points to defend.
Absolutely.
Despite the magnitude of attack points.
Nuka using the Dragon Strike, I think directly onto the Bastion, trying to eliminate him, but I would say ultimate wasted, but not really getting a lot of value out of that one. Now Nuka is going to completely drop. Blink just able to sit here, maybe able to melt down a couple, but didn't have a lot of help from his team. It will be TKO able to take him down. Waste potential start to wrap up again. And this Bucky combo doing a really solid job here, just to eliminate these threats in a tight area. Still 1 minute and 55 seconds for Instalock to continue pushing. They've already capped both of the previous 2 maps, so I expect them to be able to do it here no matter how late. But waste potential again. Just looking to finish this game up. Link's still trying to get damage through. It's a sound barrier here for the attackers to start to engage. Legend making it a little bit difficult, earning some of that ultimate charge in the back, 95% to a Death Blossom that was able to offset that fight last time. Nuka back on his feet via the res. It's another double from Gormagon to try and, actually I guess just single onto TKO, but ultimate's coming through here for Instalock to grab a couple. I think they have a bit of the advantage. Here comes a shatter, fantastically timed. Legend Toasty will combine with a Death Blossom of his own. And, whoa, yeah, waste potential, just cleaning up here. Not a lot to work with if you're the attackers. Masterman has a shatter, Valkyrie close to a Valkyrie. Sage switches over to a Reaper. But just 43 seconds means time for one more team fight. Blink with a little bit of a stagger as Knuckleluck is able to take down that Bastion. Looking for additional members, maybe smells blood. May have to retreat though, has no recall.
30 seconds remaining.
Yeah, almost dire there for Knuckleluck. Could have been kind of staggered somewhat. Now the attack starts to initiate. Really much ignored that Tracer in the back. Legend Toasty able to teleport behind them. So now they're going to get pinched a little bit as TKO joins him. Waste potential looking to wrap up this fight. Self-destruct coming through, catches no one. Now the fight really breaking out with 10 seconds left. Gormagon out of mech. The shadow coming through from Masterman. I don't think it really got as much out of that as they would have liked. And pulse bomb from Nuka onto Sage. Another kill onto Gormagon and things. I think this might be the round here. Waste potential continuing to clean up. Overtime meter looking to tick down. Valkyrie, the only one remaining, will drop. And yeah, Nuka finishes on a triple. Solid from Waste potential. It's a team kill for them and a single point for Instalock.
Score 0-1. Switching sides.
So no chance now for additional rounds. Instalock able to get the single point there, but couldn't quite get over the line, so it'll just be a take and a tick for wasted potential to win this game. See if they have it in them, or again, you know, Instalock with the full hold here could still get a map win out of this game. Relatively unlikely with how strong the wasted potential's been playing, but you know, what can you do? What were you about to say, Fallen?
Yeah, I was gonna say it is a viable option. Like it is possible. The odds may be stacked against them. Like I'm not a proper like analyst, so I wouldn't be able to. Would be, but the odds may be stacked against them. But they could still put out a full hold and prevent a waste potential for even getting the first tick on this point. You know, it can go down any way.
I definitely would agree with that. Still, it's going to be difficult. This waste potential side coming out on their attack will be very aggressive. That's what we've expected for them, and yeah, I'm looking to make it difficult here for Instalock to get anything out of this.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Now come in on this attack, maybe a little bit atypical here from waste potential coming around the this kind of right hand side here. They do have the teleporter potential from Rook, and I know we were talking about how fun it is to see some of these creative teleporter placement. We'll see if they get the Bastion into a good position. Teleporter looks like it's about to be set up here. Get the Orisa up, get the shield down, few turrets in from the Symmetra, and all they need to do is melt down this Instalock defense now. Nice sleep in the back. I believe it was Mastermind able to catch one. Waste potential trying to set up on the high ground. I like this approach from Instalock though. They pivoted around so they've got the wall to protect them a little bit. No one's still dropping as the members of Instalock start to retreat to point. Blink able to take down that teleporter from Rook.
Yeah, this fight, it seems very slow paced for the kind of normal fights we've been seeing so far.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Pin kind of going south there for Hundies. Instalock kind of embedded back into the point. Nuka slept in the corner. It's fantastic work from Masterman, but is able to recall. Will maybe be able to get away. Shocked that Tracer was able to escape. Shadow coming through, catches one. It's just Bucky, but there's a pin into the back, and Instalock all the kills in the feed. Very nice for them. Double there from Blink with the Dragon Strike, and you know, 2 minutes down now. Maybe Instalock perform this full hold.
Definitely, as time ticks on, the odds do shift more into Instalock's favour.
Using the ultimate there just to switch over to a Lucio the semester. They have the benefit with the teleporter, but maybe a different comp now, something a little bit speedier. Like you were saying, the fight's a little bit slower, so maybe this will quicken the pace somewhat and allow Waste Potential to get into a good position. Now going around this left-hand side, seeing if this is, the spot for them. It's still the defense Instalock embedded back into the point, so really any way Waste Potential attack this, they're going to have the same kind of issue. I think maybe going around the top right-hand side and getting that high ground to drop down could be beneficial, but they'll come directly into point here. Behind the shield from TKO Bucky. Now the fight engaged, a bit of a boop, misses the pin. Now it's a nano boost onto Steve's Hundies, and that could be the difference maker for Instalock. Just 60 seconds to go, though. They really need to win this fight. Legend Tasty getting one back, though, for Waste Potential, and Bucky's able to take down his opposite, who was nano boosted. Res coming through from Blink, or from Valkyrie, and Blink's back up. I think Instalock still has some of the numbers here. Self-destruct will catch Rook. Knuckleluck able to answer one back the other direction. Legend does the same. It looks like Bucky trying to chase this Mercy down. Can't quite get him. Legend Toasty getting a couple picks, though.
Oh!
That's amazing. I didn't think they'd be able to cap that. I really thought Instalock would be able to hold. A nice pin there on the Steve Sundays, and that's TKO Bucky able to wrap up there. Nice team focus. 15 seconds left, and finally able to cap the point, but Instalock so close to the full hold.
New defense point. Objective B.
And then this match will be all tied up. Well, maximum 4 minutes. So the game will be tied up.
So now all they need is a single tick to 3-0 the map. Waiting for their perfect engagement. They have a couple options. Nuka probably looking is for a pulse bomb to initiate. TKO does have a Earth Shatter as well. They've got a few to contend with on the other side. Blink using a Dragon Strike, not wasting any time. Trying to get a couple, but it doesn't quite land. Sage on the Sombra also looking to maybe hack this Reinhardt and see if they can offset this. Nuka able to get the kill onto Valkyrie, which could be crucial, but then drops. So now it's still pretty even on the point, and the defenders have the shorter respawn. Still looking to engage regardless. Waste Potential coming into point. I thought maybe the shield was up from Bucky, but that Shatter comes through regardless. Steve Honey's able to grab a couple. Now the attacking Shatter catches 3, but no one can follow up, and Instalock still look pretty strong on the point.
Feeling much better.
Yeah, not bad at all there. I like the Shatter in. Maybe questionable about whether or not the shield was up. I know that those are going to be changes. I think that's in the the PTR coming through where there's no lingering effect of the Shatter. So in that case, I think it probably, they probably would have gone directly into the shield. But not this time until those changes come through. Still valid, and it helped Instalock cap that point. Sombra in the back trying to get down TKO. Bucky is able to do so, and nice there from Sage to kind of stagger that tank a little bit. Going to force Waste Potential to rethink this approach. Coming in for the res, expecting it, but could not quite get onto Madrox before he's able to res TKO. Bucky was able to translocate back to safety, though, before that hack from Knuckleluck came through, so influential there. Ooh, Legend over to the Fair is able to take down Sage. And the switch to a Pharah, maybe the difference maker. Sage was very close to an EMP, so you'll expect that in this next fight. Here comes a res, though, from Valkyrie, just to keep that EMP on the deck. Ultimate's coming out now. There's the EMP, and the Dragon Strike doesn't catch anybody, but kill starting to go the way of Instalock as TKO Bucky drops. Now a res coming through. Nice bubble there from 360, just to keep that Mercy alive while they got Knuckleluck back into the fight. Oh, but taken down now. Steve Sunny's able to get in onto Bucky. A nice hack there from Sage the Sombra. And another cleanup from Instalock. It's been a really solid defense from them on Temple of Anubis.
I don't want to jinx anything, but I think we might end up looking at a tie on this map.
A tie, huh?
Yeah, because as of this current moment in time, either Wasted Potential can win if they cap, or I believe, if my game knowledge serves me correctly, if the time runs out, then it will go down to a draw on this one map, which would be fun to see, like, because Instalock have been providing this solid defense, but if I know Wasted Potential, they've got something up their sleeve for the very last minute.
Ooh, and that could be it right there. There comes the shatter in from TKO Bucky, able to get a kill immediately. Legend Toasty follows up with a nice double on the Rocket Barrage, and that might be it for Wasted Potential. Blink able to take that Pharah down. Now the res coming through to get the Pharah back up. But I think the numbers starting to favor Wasted Potential. They only need the tick, so trying to clean up these kills. 20 seconds left on the clock, and Magic's doing everything she can to keep these tanks up. TKO absolutely popping off. Hacked here. Here comes the attacking. Oh, yeah, attacking grab. I don't know if Instalock can be able to have members back. Starting to build up percentage here. Steve Sunny's back on the point, but I think is going to get kind of powered down. Here comes the hack. Doesn't have any protection. And Valkyrie in as well. A nice May coming in for the stall, but kills all going the way of Wasted Potential. Sage able to get his opposite Knuckle in overtime now. A third of the point, a third of this tick may be taken. Madrock's able to get Knuckle back in, and that's going to be huge for them. Yeah, and I think just members of Instalock just dropping ever so slowly, so close to being able to cap this. Solo shatter onto the opposite Reinhardt, and that will do it. Wasted Potential will 3-0 the game.
Play of the game.
Nerf this.
Fantastic triple there from Bucky, and able to get Gormagon out of mech as well. Solid performance from Instalock, but in the end, Waste Potential able to get over the line, and we'll take all 3 points here. Almost on the draw. Almost. Not quite this time, though. And again, just another dominant performance from Wasted Potential. Like we said, not the same kind of 3-0 that I think we're used to seeing, but still impressive regardless. We'll try and see if we can get the Waste Potential captain into the CGL postgame. We get some post-round thoughts and maybe see what they thought of that match when we come back. And welcome back. Waste Potential with a 3-0 victory over Instalock. But I know, like we said, not really doesn't really tell the whole story. I think Instalock put up a really solid fight here, but weren't quite able to topple Wasted Potential. And I really no judgment to him. Like, Wasted has been a solid team throughout this entire season, so they're going to be difficult to topple regardless. But obviously we can get into our post-game thoughts here in just a second, but we will have Rook, who is the captain of Wasted Potential, to get a few of those post-game thoughts and kind of their look ahead to the playoffs. So we'll have that for you in just a second. But before we get into that, just briefly, Fallen, your final thoughts on that game before we go into the post-game?
I mean, yeah, both teams, both the Wasted Potential side and the Interlock side, were very strong contenders in that game. Like, it was very close for the majority of the maps, but Wasted Potential just managing to have that little bit more of a desire to get that win and to prove to everyone that there's a reason why they're on top of the carbon tier, and that is because they are the stronger team, and the scores from today just go to show and prove that's the point. But as you were saying, yeah, it may have been a 3-0 victory, but just by that value alone, you can't say, oh yeah, Wasted Potential dominated the game, because it was a very close game. There was no like clear winner, other than the fact that, you know, there was a 3-0, but there's no clear, oh yeah, this team would have won hands down kind of, you know, there's not that kind of response from it. It was a very close game, and if one ult went a different way or one team fight went slightly different, then it could have been a complete different outcome.
Well, yeah, I think you're exactly right. Just basically showing that Wasted Potential do maybe have a few weaknesses, and, you know, teams looking at this going to the playoffs, I think it's pretty much going to be Mouchies, Juniors, and Unacceptable. That one of the teams that'll face off Wasted Potential in the Carbon Tier finals. But yeah, maybe showing a little bit of weakness. But I'm interested to hear what Rook thinks about that game. Obviously not a typical performance from them, so we'll have that here in just a second. Don't go anywhere. We'll have the CGL post game when we come back. Starts to move underneath this initial choke point. Nice direct blink. Fallen, what are you seeing out there?
I mean, going off the start, yeah, the Instalock tactic of going like already running on the flank and getting on that between their heroes they pick, and rather than trying to change out to like counter Instalock's picks, they're using what they know to their advantage. And just going that way.
Morgan's out of mech as well, so a bit disadvantage. Master Man able to take down Legend, so it's a pretty even fight. Here's the EMP coming out. The Shadow come through as well. Catches 5. Fantastic from Steve. That's a triple kill for that Reinhardt, and that's exactly what they needed. Oh, but things maybe start to go south as Gormagon's out of mech. Sage down as well, and immediately with Wasted Potential starts taking advantage. TKO with a Fire Strike grabs another, and here comes the Rocket Barrage to answer one back the other direction. Really continuing to move. It seems like, yeah, Wasted Potential really just kind of maybe that first game was a warm-up for them. Looking really solid now.
Be in a 5v6 or even worse off situation.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Kind of that bottom blocking we were talking about in the first round. Just Knuckle back in the Bastion. Just completely melting down the opposition. The tactical advisor came through from Sage, but wasn't quite able to take down. Still 5 ultimates though for the defenders. Legend Dosi switches over to a Reaper. That could definitely make it difficult. Self-destruct coming through. Finds 3 TKO. Oh my god. Here from Valkyrie to try and keep everybody up. Kills going the way of Instalock. Legend Toasty finally able to get one back onto Blink, but yeah, Instalock looks like they're doing really well. Here comes the Death Blossom. Legend Toasty actually does grab 3. Wow, I thought they'd be able to focus him down, but spectacular triple there from the coming through here for Instalock to grab a couple. I think they have a bit of the advantage. Here comes a Shatter, fantastically timed. Legend Toasty will combine with a Death Blossom of his own. And, woof, yeah, Wasted Potential just clean. And welcome to the CGL postgame. I'm your host, Salt and Pepper, and we just saw Wasted Potential take down Instalock 3-0. I think maybe an atypical Wasted Potential performance where they still got the 3-0 to be sure, but I think maybe showed a little bit of weaknesses, a little bit maybe, but Instalock not quite able to get over the line, and Wasted Potential still come away perfect and continue their perfect record. Instalock now out of playoff contention. I'm your host, Salt and Pepper, like I said, joined by Fallen, but also joined by captain of Wasted Potential, Rook 4444, and DSK Madrox, both solid players for Wasted Potential, and coming to shed a little bit of light on what they saw in that game. But first of all, welcome to the CGL breakdown.
Well, thank you. It's glad to be here.
Post game, rather. Breakdowns on Tuesdays. Rook, first and foremost, congratulations on the win. Your approach to this game, obviously you guys have been really dominant throughout the season, and Instalock kind of gave you a run for your money. They capped the map twice on Dorado and Kings Row, and just in the games that I've watched, not really something that you guys are used to. I feel like normally you're able to roll over teams pretty easily.
Not really. One thing we did have issues with initially was when we were trying to schedule the game, 100% of Instalock is on the West Coast, whereas we're split all over the place. So they only had a certain amount of time that would work for them, and that's late in the evening, which normally does not work very well for us, and it was hard to actually get our regular team together at that time.
Sure.
We were practicing different strats. However, some of the ones that couldn't make it to practice were the ones that ended up being here tonight. We only had 1-2 subs. It was a little rough.
A little bit. I think impressive though that even with missing a few members, you're able to come away with a 3-0 win. But DSK Madrox also a support player. What were you about to say?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, right when the lobby and everything was being put together, we were actually short like half of our starters. We were scrambling to get teammates on time to play.
All right, so then coming into that, obviously Kings Row, they go and they're able to, like you guys go and cap the map, do it very strongly, and then they come in and cap it. And what do you think then going into that third round?
Biggest thing we're thinking about is trying to counter what they would do, try and get in their minds sort of where they saw what we would play. What would they do to counter us, and what would we do to counter that? And I was actually surprised it worked. They ran goats to counter our Doomfist strat, and we ran Pharah and a Sombra to counter the goats.
It does seem like the Pharah worked out really well for you guys, and they couldn't really find the answer. But all the way around, obviously the push in, I believe it was the third round, you guys in overtime were able to basically cap the map, and another really impressive response there. But as we look at the playoff picture, it looks like you guys are obviously running away with the first seed in Carbon, and you'll be playing against the second and third seed in, or you're playing against the winner of the second and third seed from that semifinal game in the Carbon tier finals. So that's got to feel good at least. But obviously you've got Mounchies, Juniors, and Unacceptable. Not so much right on your heels, but definitely two strong teams in this tier as well. So which team do you think are you maybe a little bit worried about, and what can we expect going into your final week of the season against insert team name here?
Well, the team I would be most worried about is Unacceptable, because we actually lost a map to them. That was actually Numbani, and that actually had us sweating in our boots a little bit the first time we lost our map since week 1. So yeah, that's probably the matchup I'd be most worried about. As for how we're preparing for playoffs, how we prepare for that game, same as we do anything. Look at the maps we have, see what we can exploit, and see how we can have fun with it, and do something the opposing team's not going to expect.
Very nice. Yeah, again, congratulations for the win. DSK, anything else you'd like to add?
I guess the most appropriate thing probably would be to give a huge shout out to our coach. Actually, he was like super sick, and we thought he was gonna have to leave, but he came back and was able to like talk us through the game. That really helped a lot.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I like to see that, definitely. And obviously coaches have been incredibly helpful. Nice that we have that role available Yeah, thank you guys for joining us on CGL post game. We've got highlights more than likely from this game on the CGL breakdown. Make sure you guys join us there as well. Tuesday nights, 9:30 Eastern, and Rook and Madrix also do a few of our streams as well. So if you ever get an opportunity, get on those streams. They're a lot of fun to watch. But thank you guys for coming out, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you. And thank you for casting a fantastic game.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Got Fallen in here as well. Pretty solid commentary. It was a pretty good time. Yeah, then going into week 8, a lot of pretty exciting matchups. Let's see. Like I said, it'll be Waste Potential against insert team name here, who would be bottom of the tier if not for Resiliency that came in last week. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. I think it's unacceptable against Instalock next week, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I think actually Instalock plays Mounties Jr., so maybe an opportunity to disrupt the playoff tier as well. But other than that, I think that will just about do it for us. Fallen, do you have any kind of post-game thoughts? Any final things to add?
Off the top of my head, no, not really, but just make sure people who are watching at home, you don't miss any of the action, what happens. This last week, which is coming up very quickly, is going to be one amazing week to watch, because as teams are fighting for, if there's any sort of last game discrepancies between making it into playoffs and not making it into playoffs, it's going to go and be intense. So you have to make sure you can see as many games as the streamers here can actually cast.
Yeah, definitely. The next week there's a lot of really solid games on deck, and like Fallen was saying, a lot of playoff positions on the line, especially in some of these tighter tiers. Carbon seems pretty well established, but you've got challenger, contender, and rival, where it really can be anybody's game. So coming to the final games for this week and the last few games of the season should be really, really exciting. So make sure you're getting into the stream schedule on the Discord to check that out. Just to look ahead, a couple games already scheduled tomorrow. Kai and Neat doing D9 via Somber's tech support. That should be a really solid match from the contender tier. That's tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. Directly after that, Blaze has Pro Throw versus Capitalism from the contenders here. It's 9 p.m. Eastern. So maybe some other games will be scheduled as well, but those are the two we have currently, and should be a pretty solid little doubleheader there at the end from CGL. But I think that will just about do it for us, guys. Really appreciate you joining on this Saturday night doubleheader. Really solid action from both sides. So I think for Fallen Potatoes and for Instalock and Waste Potential, for CGL, Salt and Pepper. We'll see you guys next time.